William was right that Harry cannot keep his goddamn mouth shut.
I don't think he's an asset to the family. I believe he's a threat.
Picture this for a second. Prince William, the calm, collected big brother we all thought we knew, suddenly flips the script. Out of nowhere, he transforms into the royal version of Thanos, snapping Harry and Meghan right out of the monarchy like they never even existed. No cape, no crown, just straight up, I've had enough of your Netflix circus energy blasting through the palace. For years, the royals tried to keep things polite, even when it got messy. Meghan sitting with Oprah, spilling truths that left the palace scrambling. They let it slide. Harry and Meghan pocketing millions from Netflix, putting out documentaries that made the royals look like villains. Painful, but tolerated. Meghan even launched that podcast where she practically compared being a royal to living in prison with fancier hats. Humiliating, but still, they rolled with it. But William? Oh, he's different.
Good evening, Your Majesties. Good evening, Windsor.
This man clearly woke up one morning, saw the chaos flooding the headlines, and decided he wasn't playing nice anymore. In his mind, enough was enough. He basically hit the royal equivalent of delete account, block, restrict, goodbye. And here's where things get juicy. This isn't just about family drama anymore. This is power play territory. William isn't just the annoyed older brother. He's making moves like a future king who refuses to let the monarchy be dragged through Meghan and Harry's Hollywood storm. The shift is loud, it's messy, and it screams, no more games. William isn't just sitting back sipping tea, he's got a cold-blooded three-step master plan that would make even Meghan's toughest Hollywood agent break into a nervous sweat. Step 1. Strip the royal titles clean off Harry and Meghan like peeling labels from old wine bottles. Step 2. Freeze them out so hard, they're left standing in the cold like forgotten leftovers at the back of the palace fridge. And Step 3. Wipe their presence from royal history so brutally that even Netflix searches for Harry and Meghan start glitching like an error screen.
Harry doesn't have intentions that are going to benefit the royal family.
Savage doesn't even begin to cover it. Now here's the kicker. People think this revenge streak started with Harry's whiny memoir or Meghan's endless podcast comparisons. Wrong. The fuse was lit way earlier. It all ties back to a royal wedding and one tiny, easily missed detail, the missing curtsy. That single moment, overlooked by most, triggered a chain reaction that spiraled into full-blown chaos. From that point on, William's patience started cracking, and every scandal piled on top until the dam finally burst. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan weren't just living the California dream with green juices, yoga mats, and Instagram-worthy sunsets. Oh no, they were cashing in, treating the royal family like their personal content subscription service. Every drama turned into an episode. Every insult became a headline. Every betrayal turned into profit. And William? You better believe he noticed every single move. This isn't just family drama anymore. It's a high-stakes chess game, and William is making the boldest moves yet. First came the Netflix docuseries. Instead of a warm, behind-the-scenes royal story, we got 6 episodes that felt like The Crown. Sussex edition.
Harry is trying to create more problems between Prince William and King Charles, and I truly believe this.
William and Kate were painted colder than an ice sculpture at a Windsor banquet, stiff and distant, while Harry and Meghan cast themselves as the tragic victims of palace cruelty. The press ran wild with it, headlines exploded across the world, and one very red-faced future king was forced to watch his family's reputation get shredded in real time. But it didn't stop there. Next came the infamous Spotify deal. Millions of dollars handed over for what? One podcast series. And then silence. When the very execs who wrote those fat checks hop on a mic and roast you by calling you grifters, that's not a paycheck. That's a flashing neon warning sign that your Hollywood hustle just got exposed. The industry wasn't laughing with Harry and Meghan anymore. They were laughing at them.
Did you make Kate cry?
No, the reverse happened.
And then the interview that shook the monarchy to its core, the Oprah sit-down. Family business spilled out on primetime TV, turning private conversations into a global reality show. Meghan dropped allegations of racism with the same casual delivery as a Real Housewives cast member tossing wine across the table. She dropped bomb after bomb, shaking Buckingham Palace to the foundation, while Harry sat nodding like her backup act. It wasn't just shocking, it was pure, televised chaos that left the royals scrambling to pick up the pieces. The royal PR team nearly hit the floor when the Oprah interview ended. Suddenly, William was shoved in front of cameras, repeating that infamous line, "We are very much not a racist family." The look on his face said it all. Awkward doesn't even begin to cover it. The world was buzzing, the palace was rattled, and William was left doing damage control on a global stage. And then came Spare. Oh boy, Harry's memoir wasn't just a book, it was a grenade tossed straight into the royal dining room. Page after page of private texts, brutal family fights, and even brotherly brawls sold like holiday stocking stuffers.
Going into the criticism of William for carrying out less numbers of engagements than his father. We don't need you, Prince Harry.
Apparently for me, that doesn't matter.
William reportedly flipped through those chapters and thought, bro, you really just turned my temper into fan fiction? This wasn't just dirty laundry, it was monetizing the entire laundry cycle. Every royal fight became profit, every family wound became paperback gold. But here's the kicker, those cracks in the royal wall, they started way earlier. Flashback to May 2018, the royal wedding, millions glued to their TVs, trumpets blaring, carriages rolling, horses polished to perfection, and the queen herself sitting like the ultimate final boss of etiquette. Every detail timed to the second, every bow and curtsy rehearsed like a military operation. On the surface, it looked flawless, but behind the glamour, seeds of chaos were already sprouting, seeds that would later explode into full-blown scandal. And then it happened, the moment that had royal watchers gasping worldwide. Meghan glided right past the Queen of England without so much as a curtsy. Zero. Nada. Not even a polite nod. The internet lost its mind. Royal commentators clutched their pearls. And William? He caught it instantly. To him, that wasn't an accident. It was a message written in bold letters for the whole family to see. See, in the monarchy, gestures aren't small details. They're everything. A curtsy isn't just tradition. It's respect, loyalty, and acknowledgement of centuries of hierarchy. Forgetting it? That's not like skipping a handshake. That's like walking into a British pub and refusing to say cheers, the kind of move that starts a bar fight before the drinks even hit the table. Meghan's decision didn't read as a slip-up. It looked like a deliberate power move, and it sent shockwaves through Buckingham Palace. In that split second, Meghan wasn't bending to tradition. She was bending tradition around herself.
Everything that Harry is trying to do only benefits Harry.
And William? Allegedly, he saw the writing on the palace walls. He wasn't looking at a nervous new sister-in-law trying to fit in. He was staring at the very first crack in a 1,000-year-old dynasty. Because if one duchess could shrug off curtsying to the queen, what was next? Netflix docuseries exposing royal secrets? Tell-all books selling out on Amazon? Oh wait, those were already on the horizon. What looked like a tiny blink-and-you-miss-it gesture at a fairy tale wedding turned out to be the opening scene of a royal horror story. One that would haunt the monarchy for years to come. One skipped curtsy turned into skipped trust, skipped loyalty, and eventually skipped family dinners forever. That one tiny bow Meghan refused to give wasn't just a social slip, it was the spark that lit a full-blown Hollywood versus heritage saga. And William? He would never forgive. Because what do you get when you mix centuries-old crowns with blinding Hollywood spotlights? A reality show nobody asked for.
Trump is far more interested in getting close to William and Catherine than he is any other member of the royal family.
But Harry and Meghan gladly signed the contract to sell. From that infamous moment forward, their pattern was crystal clear. Instead of building a life rooted in duty, they were busy building a brand rooted in deals. Every time the palace prayed for silence, another production team showed up with cameras rolling. Every pause in the drama wasn't peace. It was just a trailer for the next explosive reveal. Take the endless interviews. These weren't short answers or polite updates. They were full-on confessionals, staged like Hollywood scripts that painted royal life as some kind of survival saga. Then came Meghan's podcast, flipping private family tension into binge-worthy episodes, each one framed like she was narrating a prison break. And finally, Harry's memoir. Oh, that memoir. Page after page of jaw-dropping stories and dramatic revelations that played out with more twists and turns than an entire soap opera marathon.
Harry can't be trusted. He's always going to do something to cross that line.
What started as a skipped curtsy turned into a blueprint for chaos, and William knew it. This wasn't just rebellion, it was branding. Inside the palace, jaws dropped. Overnight, even the most casual tea time chats weren't harmless anymore. They were potential material for Meghan's next podcast, interview, or documentary. William suddenly realized he wasn't dealing with family in private. He was dealing with producers in disguise. Every conversation had a $sign attached. Every slip of gossip could be flipped into content.
Like, I curtsied as though I was like, "Pleasure to meet you, Your Majesty." Like, was that okay?
It's really quite sad.
For Harry and Meghan, loyalty wasn't sacred anymore. It was negotiable. That's when William's frustration snapped into strategy. He saw that his brother had flipped the script, literally, and turned the monarchy into primetime programming. So William made a decision. No more defense. It was time for an offensive strike so bold even King Charles himself would be caught off guard. Forget family therapy. The royals don't do hugs and group talks. They do secret war councils. When the drama hit boiling point, the palace couldn't sweep it under yet another ornate carpet. A location was chosen: Balmoral, the stone fortress in the Scottish Highlands where the family goes when decisions need to be brutal and final. This wasn't going to be another polite chat over scones. It was going to be a closed-door war council. Picture it: Charles, Camilla, William, Kate. No aides, no leaks, just 4 royals locked in a fortress with one mission: decide Harry's permanent fate once and for all.
I was doing an interview to offer them a platform to tell their story about why they left. And that was my #1 intention, was just clarity on why did you leave? And so some of the things that were revealed in that interview came as a surprise to me. And those surprises are now referred to as bombshells.
The tension inside was colder than the winds outside those Highland walls. Nobody smiled. Nobody dared small talk. William reportedly walked in like a man who had already written the ending. His stance was sharp, his face set. Half in, half out was no longer an option. This wasn't about emotions. This was about survival. The monarchy couldn't keep living in fear of surprise Netflix episodes, secret book deals, or anonymous sources feeding tabloids like candy. Balmoral became the stage where William laid down his verdict. Enough was enough. Charles, ever the softer voice, hoped for reconciliation. Camilla backed caution. Kate, the eternal peacemaker, was torn between wanting brotherly peace and protecting the crown.
The feud between William and Harry is as bitter as ever.
But William, he wasn't the gentle sibling anymore. His energy screamed across the room. This is business, not brotherhood. When William laid out his plan at Balmoral, it wasn't floated as a suggestion. It was a royal ultimatum. Even Charles, who had seen more scandals than he could count, reportedly froze at the sheer bluntness of it. For years, William carried the image of being the boring, serious brother. But that night, he shattered it. He came in with the energy of a man running a PowerPoint in his head titled, "How to Delete My Brother in 3 Easy Steps." Step 1. Strip. Take away the Duke and Duchess titles. Erase the HRH styling. Without those shiny letters, Harry and Meghan wouldn't be royal icons anymore. They'd be downgraded to just another celebrity couple in California, hustling for clout.
She decided she didn't want to be a real princess because to be a real princess involves duty and responsibility, caring about other people. And so she just wanted to be a pretend princess in Hollywood. So she split her husband off from his royal family and then inked a $1 zillion deal with a bunch of media companies, and then all her projects flopped.
William allegedly joked it was like taking the Wi-Fi out of a smart house. Without it, you're left with nothing but 4 walls and some overpriced furniture. Step 2. Freeze. Cut off all special access to the palaces, funds, and prestige. No more free passes to Windsor, no cozy invites to state events, no cushy perks dressed up as family tradition. If Harry dared fly back to the UK, he'd be treated like a tourist snapping photos of Big Ben, not a prince returning home. That cold shoulder would sting harder than any tabloid headline. Step 3. Erase. This was the most ruthless stroke of all. William's plan wasn't about making noise or slamming the door. It was about starving the Sussex brand of oxygen until it choked. No drama, no headlines, no press, just silence.
William at one point within 7 miles of his brother, so near and yet so far, refusing to see him.
The longer the palace ignored them, the more their Hollywood sparkle would fade. William's endgame was simple: let the world forget. Let Meghan and Harry go from trending topics to background noise until even Netflix realized the royal mystique had an expiration date. And that was the brilliance. William didn't need to swing a sword. He didn't need public outbursts. His weapon was silence, quiet and calculated, but devastating all the same. Here's the twist. While William's master plan had Harry in the crosshairs, the one who stood to lose the most was Meghan. She came into this marriage chasing sparkle, red carpets, and Hollywood prestige. But William's strategy turned that glittering spotlight into nothing more than a flickering light bulb.
They know that once King William is King William, that they're done, that they're completely cut off.
Take her podcast Archetypes. 1 minute it was hyped up as a cultural game changer. The next it was canceled faster than a bad Netflix pilot. Then their Netflix docuseries. Sure, the first numbers exploded. But when the novelty wore off, the views tanked like a sinking ship. And those multi-million-dollar corporate deals? Once they rolled in like polished royal carriages, but without that Duchess shine stamped on her name, they suddenly looked more like stalled Uber rides nobody wanted to claim. Here's the reality Meghan couldn't ignore. Titles weren't just ceremonial fluff. They were branding gold. Without them, her negotiating power in Hollywood shrank overnight. Executives stopped seeing her as a global duchess and started treating her like just another celebrity in the crowd.
Yes, they met. Yes, that was against William's wishes, but there was no sense that I'm getting that Charles laid out the red carpet for Harry.
And the palace? They twisted the knife deeper. The royal diary, the schedule that controls every appearance, was locked up like Fort Knox. When Harry arranged a simple charity visit back in Britain, the coldness was brutal. Zero family interaction, no tea with Granny, no friendly photo ops, not even a polite handshake to feed the cameras. Every single door was slammed, every gesture withheld. The message couldn't have been clearer. Access denied. And then there was Kate. Poor Kate, once the quiet referee of family tensions, now stuck in the crossfire. She reportedly longed for peace, but she knew the crown couldn't survive another Netflix sequel airing Windsor's secrets like dirty laundry. Meghan might have seen the family as her endless content stream, but William and Kate were determined to cut that cord, for good. Standing by William meant standing by the crown. Kate knew it, Charles knew it, even the senior courtiers whispering in the shadows knew it. Protecting the institution meant icing out Harry, no matter how brutal it looked from the outside.
Harry is really deep in trouble at the moment, even financially. I mean, we know that Meghan's Jam failed to sell out. Her season 2 of her cooking show was an absolute disaster.
And the fallout? Meghan felt it hardest. Without the shield of royal perks, her Hollywood pitch collapsed overnight. She went from selling herself as a modern duchess to nothing more than a former royal spouse. And in an industry obsessed with shiny titles, that downgrade hurt more than any savage tabloid headline ever could. Charles once wore the crown of "let's all get along." For years, he played the role of gentle diplomat. He gave Harry second chances, ignored Meghan's messy interviews, and clung to the hope that time might heal the wounds. But after Balmoral, that softer Charles vanished. The tide turned. The king himself sided with William. No hesitation, no sugarcoating, no soft handshakes in front of the cameras. Just a clear, thunderous agreement. The monarchy couldn't survive another Netflix tell-all or another memoir dripping with scandal. And this was monumental, because when the king stops playing peacemaker, you know the gloves are off. This wasn't about patching up family feuds anymore. It was about survival. The survival of an institution that had lasted 1,000 years, through wars, scandals, abdications, and betrayals. William stepped into his role not as the boring, dutiful heir, but as the enforcer. And Charles? He gave the green light. From that moment forward, Harry and Meghan weren't working royals. They weren't even semi-royals. They were outsiders, cut off, frozen out, and branded as liabilities rather than family. The crown had chosen its future, and it didn't include them. Harry and Meghan were no longer royals. They were private citizens dragging around celebrity baggage. Every door in the palace was slammed shut. Every corridor of Windsor went cold, and the message couldn't have been louder. The monarchy comes first, even if it means erasing family ties forever. And at the center of it all stood William. To some, he looked like a cold-blooded strategist, a future king willing to cut off his own brother in the name of the crown. To others, he was the guardian, protecting centuries of tradition from collapsing into nothing more than a tacky reality TV circus. That's the legacy William is now carving for himself. The big question isn't whether Harry and Meghan will fade. It's how William will be remembered. Will history paint him as the monarchy's savior, the man who reinforced the walls of Buckingham and kept the crown safe? Or will he go down as its most ruthless executioner, the heir who turned family into collateral damage? One thing's certain, the royal family feud is no longer awkward family dinners and frosty small talk. It has escalated into full-blown palace warfare. William has shed the image of the patient older brother. He's not the mediator anymore. He's the iron wall guarding the throne. And the wildest part? Charles, once branded the eternal peacemaker, now stands firmly at his side. With Meghan's Hollywood brand wobbling and Harry locked out of royal favor, William's cold strategy is working, and the monarchy has never looked this brutal or this unshakable. Harry's access is frozen. The monarchy has slammed its gates tighter than Buckingham Palace during peak tourist season. So now the question looms. What happens next? Do Harry and Meghan somehow reinvent themselves without the royal glitter that once fueled their brand? Or do they quietly slide into that dreaded "where are they now?" category of celebrity culture, side by side with yesterday's fading stars? Either way, one thing is clear. William's plan has flipped the script. But the haunting question still hangs in the air. Did he save the monarchy from collapse? Or did he sacrifice his own family to keep the crown shining? And trust me, if you think this move was ruthless, you haven't seen anything yet. Because here's the kicker. Harry made a shocking demand to his father that left everyone stunned, and it explains exactly why William isn't playing nice anymore. I covered the full story in my last video, and you do not want to miss it. This is T-Torch, where the crown collides with the chaos, and we shine the brightest light on the scandals they never wanted you to see. Don't forget to hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss the next twist in this royal saga. See you in the next one.